Welcome to Outreach Connection, focusing on topics and issues that reach our communities with the love and the power of Jesus Christ.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Outreach Connection. I am Sandy Axton, your host, and we are so blessed to have you with us today. But before I introduce my guest today, I would like for us to go to Mark 16 and 15. The word says, "And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Today, I am excited. I have Jen Brosey with me from Wellness Redeemed today, and she's got some really exciting things to share with us today about our wellness,
yes,
our overall health, and she's got the testimony to back it up of what has gone on. Jen, it's good to have you today. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself? Because there are probably some people that don't know you yet, and we want to know you.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
Yeah.
I am, we are in Monroe City. We pastor Life Redeemed Church, and I am just thankful for all that God is doing. It has just been amazing to watch. For myself, I came from a place where I was raised in church, but I didn't really get to know the Lord for myself until much later, after my poor parents tried so hard. And so I know all of the good things that the Lord has done in my life and the way that He has saved me and changed me. And I just want to glorify Him in all things, in everything that I do. And so that's how all of this came about. But as far as my salvation testimony, I had been through some pretty dark things, some pretty sad things. I had dealt with drug addiction and depression, and I had a youth leader that would pray over me, Lord, whatever it takes, I want to see her saved, and that whatever it takes was getting pregnant with my son. And so I found out that I was pregnant with my son, and I was left with, like, it's time to make a choice. It's time to decide what I'm going to do here. And so I started living for the Lord, and He healed me and saved me after a long process of hurt and stubbornness and all of that. And so we ended up here and doing His work, and He's just keeps calling, and we keep answering. So,
Right,
yes.
right. Just keeping that door open and keep walking through when they
that's
open.
exactly right.
For sure. So give us a little testimony. You have experienced yourself some things as far as health and so on like that kind of gave you a little insight to get involved in the Revelation Wellness and all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
When we have 6 children. 4 of them I gave birth to, and 2 of them we've adopted. And my 3rd and 4th pregnancies, I had such just awful gestational diabetes. I ended up on insulin with both of them, and then I was overweight before I had gotten pregnant with my 3rd biological child. I was diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and so that came with its own set of challenges. And when I had my 3rd child, when I got pregnant with my 4th child, my doctor immediately put me on insulin. She's like, we just know where this is going to go. And so that pregnancy was, I never got control over my sugars the entire pregnancy, both of them. And so afterwards, she was ready to diagnose me with type 2 diabetes. And I was just heartbroken, because in my mind, I thought, oh, after pregnancy, I'll go back to being normal and it'll be fine. Even though it was pretty expected. It was just another thing to pile on to the things that were already happening to my body.
Right.
And so my mother has diabetes. I have a lot of family history of diabetes, and so I knew that it was something that I was gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
So my doctor at the time wanted to keep me on insulin, and I asked her, I'm like, can we just please just pause, wait, I really want to try to do this on my own. I want to try to get things under control. And so I was very blessed to have my best friend, Hannah. She was kind of dealing with some of the same things. And she's like, we can do this. We can get this. And so it started out with just walking short distances. I remember the first time that we walked, we could still see my house, and we turned around. We were like, we cannot do this. We're going back home. And it was just building. And so I want to encourage somebody out there, if you're just starting, then continue to build on those small habits, because I never thought that I would be where I am today.
Yes.
So we started to lose the weight. We started to focus on higher protein and lower carbs, and my sugars leveled out, and I was so thankful. This was 5 years ago, so it's been a process. And so we started to, as that was going on, we started to share with our friends and family what was going on, and about, now I'll say this, for the first 6 months that we were doing this, we were like, we're not telling anybody. And we're like, we're not going to say anything to anybody about weight loss, because we have failed at this so many times. We already know that people are going to be like, oh, okay, again, you know? And so we're like, we're not going to say anything to anybody. But then we started sharing. And as we started sharing, we ended up starting a YouTube channel, and we just kept learning so many things for ourselves. We're like, let's share this with somebody. And as we were experiencing things, we were like, we're going to put this on YouTube. And so we did. We started our YouTube channel, and we started a small community of women that we could exercise with, and that we can just kind of vent to and share those burdens, which is so important. Like it's such a blessing to have that. And God just started working through that. Like it was just, I mean, I don't know. I just watched him do it, like just, but see, and I had been through, which I think a lot of women can attest to, I had been through the whole process of gaining weight and losing weight, gaining weight and losing weight. And most of it before my health became an issue, most of it was for vanity. You know, like we feel like we have to look a certain way. We feel like everyone was made to be in the same type of body, which I have since learned is not the case. Like we are made so original. Like what, I mean, so uniquely, and we have to claim that. Like we have to be okay with it. And so, but I'd been through all of that for vanity's sake, and as I was growing in my spiritual life, I started to feel such a conviction about what it meant to glorify God in my body, and like feeling convicted over the way that I had hated myself when I gained weight or didn't look like somebody else, or the way that I had so obsessing over my body for vanity, but also neglecting my body. Like both of those were sinful things. And so I really started to seek after the Lord with that, and then and how I could glorify Him in it. And I mean, it just went from there. Like that's what it was. So
so we are really, truthfully, fearfully and wonderfully made.
Absolutely.
But I know I hear others mentioning too, when they face things like this and they talk about, it's our temple. Are we taking care of our temple as God intended, you know, for us to be? And so that sounds like something that God has really shown you and helped you to see, like, hey, Jen, this is what you need to do, you know.
And there's a quote by Elizabeth Elliot that says, we can't give God our hearts and keep our bodies for ourselves.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh my goodness.
That's a good quote.
Yes, it is. And it's such a split sometimes. We split between, well, you know, I'll make sure that any sin regarding the heart is taken care of, but the sin regarding the body is ignored sometimes. So
definitely.
It's crazy. When that became a thing for me, I'm like, I can't go back. Like I know, like the conviction has set in. So about how far are you walking now generally on a daily basis? It used to be a big deal for us to do a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. But now that's kind of average. Like that's kind of what we do. Is like, I mean, it was like a goal for us to reach that 3 miles. And so, but it was building on those small habits that, you know, you keep going a little bit farther, you keep going a little bit farther. And sometimes you have to say, Lord, help me, because I want to be strong
Yeah.
for what you've called me to do.
Right.
It is a lot easier for us to accomplish things in the kingdom if we're caring for our bodies,
Right.
if we're putting those in a place of, I want to get strong, and it starts so small, and then you just stack and stack and stack. And so, it was a pretty big deal for us to get to that 3 miles, and now that's about what we'll do on an average walk, is about 3 miles. So, which is crazy to think about after that first walk of less than a quarter mile.
Right.
So,
To me, it's just around the block.
hey, that's okay. That is okay.
I'll look at them same houses on that block just so I can do it that way. So tell us a little bit about how then you got involved with Revelation Wellness.
Well, when the Lord was really working on my heart about what it meant to, it wasn't just the conviction of glorifying God in my body. It was combining that heart and soul and spirit and mind and body, all of those things. Because sometimes it's very easy for us to leave church at church and leave health at the gym, or whatever it is, and compartmentalize our lives, when that is not how God intended for us to live.
No.
We are to fully give ourselves to Him, and that's in every part. And I've talked about this on A Woman's Joy before, but if there's any small thing in your life that you can give to God, we should give it to God. Even if we think, Lord, what can you do with this?
Yeah.
I never thought about my health and fitness and wellness journey from a spiritual point of view, ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's got to be more out there. There's got to be something out there. So in my desire to seek after that, I found Revelation Wellness. Which is a ministry. It's been around for a while now, I think about 15 years or so, and that they focus on getting your mind and body in health in a Christ-centered way. And so, and they talk a lot about not obsessing and not neglecting, because you've got those two levels of people who obsess over the body and those who neglect the body. And so, they have grown so much that they have started their own, and it's been around for a while, but they have a fitness instructor program. And I didn't know it at the time, but that's what I was looking for. I was like, okay, like, what is this? What is I had no interest in leading group fitness. Okay, nothing, like nothing. But I started praying about it, and I felt the Lord repeatedly tell me, take the step. Take the step, take the step. And so I'm like, okay, so with that, it came to filling out the instructor packet and talking to the enrollment staff, and the Lord provided. I look back on it now, and I know you've experienced this. You look back and you're like, how in the world did the Lord provide that? Like, how did we get from here to there?
Yeah.
And so those were the steps. I was following the steps. He provided the finances. And so I kept asking the question, like, why? Like, what am I doing? Like, what is this? What is the purpose? And the Lord was not revealing that to me, which I'm so thankful for. Like, I'm so thankful the Lord don't tell us before we need to know, like we would totally.
Right.
But He just kept saying, take the next step, take the next step. And so, you know how the Lord is working, and you're trying to figure it out, and you think like, oh, this must be why, Well, that was me, because that's what I was doing the whole time during training. I'm thinking, okay, so far through YouTube and through the community that we've developed, we've been able to help some women that were struggling with their weight, struggling with health. And so maybe that's what this is for. Maybe I'm just supposed to help other women, and maybe this is another avenue to lead them. That's kind of what I was thinking. So as we were in training, there was a couple classes about special populations. So we had a class about working with seniors, a class about working with children, individuals with special needs, all of those things. And I don't know when it hit, but it hit. And I was like, that is it. The Lord is calling me to this, which again, I didn't even think I was going to lead fitness classes. So like, for me to even think that, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, Lord, but you're going to have to take over. Yeah. And so we already had the Lord kept, just building on that. And we already had a connection with a residential care center in Monroe City. We've had one of the girls there had gone to our church. We had been friends with a couple of the other girls. And so I knew that those ladies were in need of something as far as fitness and exercise. They didn't really care to do any of that stuff. And so I was like, you know what, maybe we can just do a little something with them. And at first it was just a small little nudge, like it was just like a little idea. And then it just opened, the door was open. The door was open, and I became a certified group fitness instructor through Revelation Wellness. I made a call to the manager of the home, and it was like exactly what they were looking for. And they were so enthusiastic about it and so kind about it. And so I was like, and so then we scheduled our first class, and it went from there.
And now all the rest of it is history.
Yes, the rest is history. That's exactly right.
It just keeps going and keeps going. So tell us a little bit then, when do you have your classes?
Well, our classes right now are Wednesdays at 3:30, and we have them at Life Redeemed. And it has been, I mean, just amazing. We welcome everybody. It doesn't have to be from a specific place, or they are mixed gender classes. We've had everything from seniors to children. Like we've had everybody, and so anyone is welcome to come. And I always say that. It doesn't just let me know that you'll be there, and and they're free right now.
Awesome.
The classes are free. It's just a ministry that our church offers, and so. It has been a real joy to watch the people in our class and how they've grown and how they've developed. And also myself, that first class, I was so nervous, so sick to my stomach. I'm like, I am not meant to do this. I am not supposed to be here right now. And so, but the Lord He just leads. And you just wonder, like, I definitely didn't get here on my own. Like, the Lord has been leading. And so that first class was so nerve-wracking. And then as the class developed, I got to be more confident. And I actually told Hannah yesterday, I said, I've never felt more like myself than when I am leading a fitness class. And isn't that something? When I said I would never lead a fitness class, I'm like... The Lord's like, okay, sure, you know. And
you know what I'm going to have you do?
Exactly.
Okay,
you're not going to do that? Okay, you're going to do that. And so my confidence has just been built up. And then the confidence of those that are in my class, it's been amazing to watch them as their mobility has changed, and their enthusiasm for exercise has changed. I will say this, if you are not a gym person, that is okay. Like, I'm not a gym person. I was not going to lose that weight and become active from the gym. It wasn't going to happen. But when I found walking, I love walking. I love like choreographed dance and things like that. Like, all of that stuff is so fun to me. So we just turn on some worship music. I have choreographed probably hundreds of songs now. And so we have a good old time. The sessions are short. They're about 25 minutes long. We do a warm up, we do a cool down. And it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. Oh, you're going to come sometime. I'll get you to come sometime.
I will. I gotta come.
It is a lot of fun. It really is.
Come. Is that other thing?
It's so much fun.
So there's something else that you also do, and that's Jen Hannigan stuff.
Yes.
So that is a unique thing, and you've been able to carry some of this over into that.
Yes, absolutely.
As far as the wellness and the health thing. So we have a little clip of one of your Jen Hannigans. And so let's watch that real quick for a minute here.
Hello. Welcome back to Jen Hannigans. It's just Jen today, and I just wanted to share with you guys the thing that has worked for me the most when it comes to incorporating exercise in my daily life. I am not a gym person, and it was very hard for me to imagine getting to the gym, doing all of the things that I do not like to do, making the time for it, spending the money on it. And so I would repeatedly start the cycle where I would work out and go to the gym and do the things, and then I would just get burnt out on it. And so when I decided 4 years ago that this was going to be the last time that I lost weight, then I knew that I was going to have a form of exercise that I could do every single day and that I would truly enjoy. So for me, you guys already know, if you've been around for any kind of time, that I love to walk and I love to be outside. I love to play with my kids, and those are things that not only do they benefit me in my physical body, but they benefit me mentally. They benefit my children because I'm active with them. And so that has worked, like finding those things every day that I know that I love. Now I do realize that there is some importance in strength training and things like that, and I am adding that into my life, but having that walking, that activity, those games with my kids as a baseline for exercise, it has just really been the thing to keep me on the right path. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you can find something that you absolutely love to do, and maybe you do love to go to the gym, if that's your thing, then go for it. Something else that I love to do is we love to dance. Like, we love to have kitchen dance parties. So if that works for you, then you know, whatever, find what works for you, find what you can stick to, and just go for it. Do it every day. Make it a part of your life. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you like this video, then like this video, comment, subscribe, share, and all those things, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yes.
So now, where can we find these on a regular basis to get that word of encouragement then in that way?
That is from our YouTube channel. That is from Jen Hannigan's, which is a combination of my name and Hannah, and we're always up to something. So shenanigans, Jen Hannigan's. We were cute that day. And so that YouTube channel does have a lot of things that we've learned. It's sometimes, there's even like what I eat in a day's type thing, so you can see kind of what we're eating that has allowed us to lose weight. And so Hannah has lost 160 pounds and I have lost 80 pounds. And we've been able to keep that off. And not only is that a great way for us to kind of share, you know, for someone else, to help someone else, but it's a really good way for us to be accountable.
Yes.
And so like, hey, this is, if we're struggling, then, you know, I'm going to do what I eat in a day today. And so we've had a lot of fun with that, and we have some really good information there. Just hoping to help somebody, because it's not easy.
Yeah. And there's times, I believe, you shared even like recipes and, you know, certain things, maybe like, hey, we've tried this.
Yes. Substitutions for things. We do a lot of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is such a need for that. So make sure that you get on there and you look this up and you follow them and share it so that we can get a lot of followers on this and just blow it out of the park and get some more on there. So what you mentioned your children and stuff, you know, walking with you and the things that you all do together. My understanding is you've had intentions to do a children's type of thing like you're doing with the other ladies. So.
And we have started that with our homeschool group. We are doing some fitness classes there, where I'll start out with talking about nutrition, and we also do some mental health things, which are very important. We talk about, you know, talking about your feelings and expressing your feelings in the appropriate ways and things like that. And then we'll go into a fitness part. So we've been able to do that. Our plan and what we have already developed and created is Kid Active, which is our summer program. And we had plans this past summer to do it. It did not work out. The Lord said this is not the time, but it is developed, it is ready, and we are hoping to do that in Monroe City twice a week for 4 weeks in the summertime. So it has just been, we've also got a walking group through our Wellness Redeemed at Life Redeemed Church. We have that, and that, just these opportunities, because I know that it's unique, that fitness and church, I guess you can say, that you may not think about those things going together, but the Lord has just opened so many doors through this that I just did not expect. As far as, we've had some of the girls from the house come to church. Just so many things that have happened there. But also one of the ladies that started coming to our walking group now comes to our church on a regular basis. And her life is being changed. And so just to see that, I didn't have any idea. I just took the step. You know, the Lord kept saying, take the step, take the step. And if he had told me his plan, I would have tried to plan it out, make it what I thought it should be. But he didn't, and he still hasn't. He's still just telling me, take the step. And he's told me no to some things, but I'm just taking the steps.
So then, really, this has been an outreach.
Yes.
For you and for the church at Life Redeemed there in Monroe City. Where is the location of your church?
We are at 514 South Main. The reason why I remember that south is because Palmyra is 1210 South Home. So I always remember it's south. We're both
it's
on
south.
the south streets. So that's how I remember.
We're
so
headed south.
It's 514 South Main in Monroe City. We have all of our classes in the fellowship hall over there. And so unless we're doing a chair class, sometimes we do chair classes and we use the sanctuary for that. But that's where it's happening now.
Yeah.
And I'm praying that doors will open for other things, maybe a second class or maybe to go into a facility. I feel like the possibilities are truly endless for what God can do through this.
Right.
Really.
So are there any needs that you have personally for these classes that if somebody said, hey, I want to help her, I really like this and believe in this.
Yes.
Is there anything particular that you have?
The thing that we've been praying for is there's some things that we'd like to do with our current class that need a few more equipment type things.
Okay.
The Lord has blessed us immensely with dumbbells.
Yeah.
I have been on the hunt and I have found them in free piles. I have found them at the thrift stores. We are set. But there are so many other things, like we'd like to get a nice big bean bag set because there's so many good balance options for if you have a bean bag set. So things like that. And also we are working to collect things for our Kid Active camp. So, and I believe that the Lord will provide. I believe He will. And so, there are needs that come up for those things.
Yeah.
So
a website is on the screens that somebody can get on there if they would love to donate or get a hold of you about your classes. So we're down to just barely over 1 minute.
we could talk for so much longer.
So do you mind praying for our audience that's watching today?
Absolutely. Lord, we are so thankful for this time together, God. And I pray, Lord, that you would just move over those that are watching, God, that if there is somebody that is struggling with their weight or their health, Lord, that you would just reach in, God, and that you would just move in a mighty way over them. I pray, Lord, that you would bring peace to the minds of those that are watching, God. And I pray, Lord, that you would also help us to remember that you have made us in such a unique way. And God, that you love us, whether we're big or tall or fat or small, Lord God, that you would just move and that you would just remind us, God, that you love us. We are so thankful, Lord. And I'm thankful for each person watching, God. Just pray your blessings over them in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Again, Jen, thanks so much for being with us today and starting to share this. I'm anxious to have you back on in the future and get some more information, some new things coming about that you're expanding and doing in that way. And God's blessings upon that. So it's been wonderful having you. Looking forward to the next time. Lord bless.
Contact us at Outreach Connection, WTJR 222 North 6th Street, Quincy, Illinois 62301.